Leveraging post-harvest technology to scale up agricultural competitiveness. Here we are at the second Post-Harvest Connect Conference and Exhibition at the National Cassava Conference 2025 at the NAF Conference Center here in Abuja. The event, which is powered by the Nigerian Stored Products Research Institute, NISPRI, is one that see all stakeholders gather to bring on board the challenges and proffer solutions to some of the identified problems facing the sector. This year's conference promises to be a life-changing one, as we are going to be seeing what they've done differently from the last conference. Join me, let's go. On that note, I welcome you to this episode of Agric Today on ARCN Television, Mabushin, Abuja, Nigeria. I am Khadija Oluwatoyin. Let's go in.
When I speak from what we do, I am more realistic and I know I'm saying what is happening. I want us to realize that what we have started is going to be a revolution. Before now, everybody in the post-harvest ecosystem is just on his own. If your friend is in the other side, maybe you exchange your friendship and something happens. But with this, we have now created a more formal platform that is now recognized and backed by the Federal Ministry of Agriculture and Food Security. And I want to assure you that it can only get better. Because beyond that, after every conference, we ask for the report. And we try to say, what can we do to address some of the concerns? And I think the innovation this year is joining it with a major commodity that is both a food security crop and a cash crop, and also an industrial crop. It's also an export crop. So, when I was told, I said, well, this is the right thing to be done. Because in the review we did, and I'll go straight on to this issue because I know the aspect of post-harvest technology has been discussed tremendously. Let's keep on the engagement, let's keep on talking. But what we want to say is that in terms of the policy, we want to see how we can strengthen the policy actions that we should be taking as a ministry and to support members of the ecosystem to also continue to do their best so that after some few years, perhaps after the first, 3 years, we should begin to now have studies that will begin to tell us things that are changing in the post-harvest ecosystem. That is when we'll be making more meaning. Right now, I know there's a lot of evaluation, a lot of assessment of the situations on ground. And we need to look at it from both technology availability, accessibility, or even post-harvest technology security, because if it's available and it's not affordable, there is still trouble. And if it's available, it's not accessible, there is still problem. So there's quite a number of things we have discussed about. We need to begin to look at who are those even fabricating or producing various post-harvest machineries and equipment. We can't just allow people to be buying dead on arrival equipment in the name of post-harvest equipment. The thing I want to say from the perspective of the ministry is that you all recall that the ministry implemented for over 20 years the Root and Tuber Expansion Program, RTEP. RTEP was so popular, it was all over the place. and promoting different types of cassava varieties that farmers are being encouraged to uptake and to produce. And when the presidential initiative on cassava came, a lot of farmers thought millions have landed, and people went into it. Unfortunately, the law, skills, and information available to many farmers led them into making very terrible mistakes. And it was during that period I know that cassava too, they knock. You know when you say engine knock? It was during that period I knew that cassava too, they knock. Abi Dixon, do you know when cassava is knocked? Because the varieties then, I think, is like when they transport it over a long distance. So many things happen to the tuber. And at the end of the day, it's no longer available to be used as a correct quality tuber. Yeah. So I had somebody who he saw big money and took cassava from Katsina around Funtua axis, taking it to Port Harcourt. By the time you go there, he said, "Anche mini tabuga." And you know when they say tabuga, you don't knock with that. I say cassava de bakmatara. So some of this experience speaks volume. But as much as it's funny, to those who experience it, it is not funny. Because from that moment onward, some of these people have been thrown out of business and they've not recovered even today. So what we have realized as a ministry when we reviewed all of this is starting from this year, 2025, and you can check our budget if I'm not mistaken. I stand to be corrected, but even if it's not there, then it's in the work plan. We decided to transform ARTEC. We are tired of expansion. Let us now focus on what will drive organically the expansion. And I'm happy some of the issues being addressed here are apt. So we've changed from root and tuber expansion program to root and tuber industry and export development program, that is RTIDE program. And I think it was when we took that decision that I was informed about the effort in Ekiti. And I said, this is apt. Now, what are we talking about? It's not a good story that for the past almost 3 decades, Nigeria is occupying the #1 position for the top producer of cassava. Am I right? But on the flip side, check the export data, trade data, and you will struggle to look for the flat level Nigeria is located on the bar. That is unacceptable, and that is what we saw. And we are aware, we thought things have changed because of some of the interventions, but we realized that there was a policy slump. A lot of things sloped back, and a lot of people ran out of cassava. While I'm happy that those strategies will give us some, traction, I want to submit that they are not sustainable. They are not sustainable. And a lot of examples have shown us clearly that, yes, backward integration succeeds, but up to an extent. With time, fatigue sets in. And when that happens, definitely you begin to have problems. But the other side also is that not just fatigue from your end, but it will crowd out those who have shown natural interest in the subject matter. And after a while, they say, well, the big masquerade is there. He can dance alone, so let's go to another place. And farmers are very good economists. The moment they get word of mouth that this is what is on the rise, forget it. They don't abandon sheep. They will change and move to another area. And you see, Nigeria is so blessed that we have so many crops that farmers can take as options. So, coming back to the question of sustainability that somebody asked, what I want to guarantee you is that as a ministry, the R-Tide program is being developed as a program that should come on board with all the things that should drive what we want to see.
And with participants that were from UK, America, Germany, Nigeria, and African countries. And the program provided a forum for robust engagement among various stakeholders. And we had a takeaway from that post-harvest connect. And the takeaway was that we must work in synergy to reduce post-harvest losses. This year, we look at how best can we work in synergy. And number one is to understand the post-harvest technologies that are available to every user at different levels. And I'm very happy that we now have to build on the successes that we have. And this year we want to look more into digital tools and some other innovative technologies that will help us.
It is with great pleasure and a deep sense of responsibility that I stand before you today to deliver this address at the second Post-Harvest Connect Conference and Exhibition and the National Cassava Conference 2025. Let me first commend the National Store Products Research Institute, NISPRI, and all partners for organizing this important event, which focuses on a theme that is both timely and vital, leveraging post-harvest technology to scale up agricultural competitiveness. Agriculture remains the backbone of our economy, and cassava is undeniably one of Nigeria's most important staple crops. As the world's largest producer of cassava, Nigeria holds immense potential, not only to meet domestic food needs, but also to drive industrial growth and foreign exchange earnings through the export of value-added cassava products. However, the full realization of this potential hinges on one critical factor: reducing post-harvest losses and improving value chain efficiency. The sad reality is that a significant proportion of what we produce never reaches the market or the final consumer in usable form. Estimates indicate that Nigeria loses over 30% of its cassava and other perishable commodities post-harvest due to poor handling, storage, and processing practices. These losses represent not only wasted food, but also wasted labor, land, water, and capital. This is why today's theme is so important. Post-harvest technologies, including improved storage systems, processing equipment, cold chain innovations, and packaging techniques, are essential tools for minimizing losses, enhancing product quality, extending shelf life, and creating marketable products that can compete locally and globally. As the apex body overseeing agricultural research and development in Nigeria, the Agricultural Research Council of Nigeria, ARCN, is committed to promoting demand-driven technology-enabled agricultural solutions that can drive productivity, reduce losses, and enhance competitiveness. In this regard, we are working closely with our research institutes and stakeholders to strengthen harvest research, post-harvest research, and innovation across various commodities. Promote farmer-friendly technologies through extension and demonstration. Enhance capacity building for farmers, processors, and agribusinesses. Facilitate policy advocacy and partnership for technology uptake and scale up. This conference strongly aligns with the renewed hope agenda of Mr. President, His Excellency President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, GCFR, which places agriculture at the center of national transformation and economic recovery. The agenda ambitions a Nigeria that is food secured, self-reliant, and economically diversified. It emphasizes modernizing agriculture through mechanization, innovation, and value addition. Events like this and the innovations we showcase here directly contribute to the realization of that vision by addressing the critical challenges of post-harvest losses and improving agribusinesses' competitiveness. We are particularly encouraged by the leadership of NISPRI in advancing research and development in post-harvest technology. Their continued commitment to tackling post-harvest challenges is commendable and aligned perfectly with ARCN strategic mandate under the ARCN Act 2021. Before I conclude, let me proudly highlight a major milestone in Nigeria's agricultural research and innovation landscape. Nigeria has made history with the release of its first zinc-enriched biofortified rice varieties, Faro 71 and Faro 72. These high-yielding, nutrient-rich varieties were officially unveiled at the certificate meeting of the National Committee on Naming, Registration, and Release of Crop Varieties.
First and foremost, I want to thank Professor Sani for giving us this opportunity once again, for bringing in NCGA into the limelight again. There were actually a series of issues and dependence of how we are able to carry our activities over time. But now we have created a different platform, different developmental strategy to see how we can be able to upscale this development plan. With profound gratitude and a deep sense of humility, that we embrace this opportunity on this precipice of history as we hold this very important conference in collaboration with the Nigerian Stored Produce, NISPRI. This conference is important for many reasons, and some of which I will carefully highlight. It is a crucial time for us in history in our beloved country that common staple foods, for example, like gari, it is becoming difficult for people to really access recently. And as such, we decided to see how we can create another kind of unique platform where we will definitely present it during our plenaries by tomorrow, by God's grace, so that people can see how they can be able to access these commodities within the cheapest possible period network. And of course, one of the major things that we have found that is coordinated operations at the upstream level is actually missing and is almost non-existent. And it has given rise to some associated challenges with raw materials sourcing from processing companies. Little or no technology issue here is we have created a new technology owing to the fact that we have issues with a program that was actually provided before, which is the Oncoboros. And I realized that one of the major challenges we have seen is the issue of data management systems. What I mean, integrated data management systems. Most of the schemes within those areas are actually not integrated together to see, so that people cannot be able to identify where is the supplier, who is the farmer, and who is who along the value chain. So we decided to create a scheme where the data management system will now be able to identify a supplier from the farm gate, what happens in the farm, from harvest up to the processing unit. And also it will be presented tomorrow during one of the plenaries. Bad credit utilization, of course, is one of the major things that we have realized that is actually a factor. Necessary tracking of developmental funding is very important because most of the farmers are actually lacking this skill. So we are also upscaling their skills in NCGA to see how we can be able to make sure they have the opportunity to know what is actually right and how to implement their schemes. So despite all of this, the largest producer, Nigeria is the largest producer by almost 45%. Everybody knows about cassava. And of course, if we can be able to focus on our challenges and then outline all this using the data management system or the integrated data management system, we're going to make sure we're going to have all this post-harvest losses to a barest minimum achieved.
Very recently, there has been a lot of controversy over GMO, no GMO, hybrid or no hybrid. The issue of telomeres, the issue of BT cowpea. I think one of the engineers that is responsible for this development is here seated with us. I have to mention him specifically because people used to think that we bring this GMO from outside. No, they were developed by scientists in Nigeria with the collaboration of course, people from outside, and of course, using our own laboratory. And I think Prof is one of the key factors in the tailor-made production. Is somebody that I respect very seriously. This is the center of harmonization. And when we mean harmonization, within the confines of NISPRI, they don't do things in isolation. All the departments fuse themselves together, and that is why you find all manners of things there. When the last assessors came, I can tell you that it's one of the only laboratories that we have in NISPRI that is ISO certified, and we're very, very proud of that. So whatever comes from these institutions, we know what is there.
Well, I thank God because I met a very dedicated group of people from IAR&T, IAR, NCRI, several universities, and we committed ourselves to work together as a team to make soybean an important crop in Nigeria. One of the first things we did is we went and met a gentleman named Alhaji Iru Garba, the chairman, the owner of Fantua Cotton Crushing Company, a company that takes cotton seeds, crushes it, and makes oil and animal feed. But there was no cotton. So he was out of business. So he was willing to try soybean. And so gradually he became the first processor of soybean in Nigeria, making animal feed and soybean oil. 1983, look where we're at today. Soybean, nobody even worries about the processing. In fact, the processors can't get enough soybean. I just wanted to bring that up because for all of us in the room, just take it to heart that that work you're doing today is going to grow and grow and grow and blossom and make Nigeria agriculture much, much stronger. Please remain committed. You will see great successes. On behalf of my Director General, Dr. Simeon Iwe, the Director General of IITA, at the Post-Harvest Connect Conference and Exhibition held here at the NAF Conference Center. At IITA, we have demonstrated that we can reduce post-harvest losses in agricultural commodities through the Presidential Initiative on Cassava, also the Agriculture Transformation Agenda, and now transformation of African agriculture technologies. Also, there's a project called Building Sustainable Integrated Seed Systems, Basics 2. There's the Root, Tuber, and Banana Project. There's the Excellence in Breeding. There's the Enable Youth Agribusiness, and also the Youth in Agribusiness. These are all projects managed by IITA, implemented by IITA, that are contributing to the success of this conference. And we thank them for their strong support.
With the contributions of partners, stakeholders, and delegates at this second edition of the Post-Harvest conference organized by NISPRI, the Minister of State for Agriculture, Senator Sabi Abdullahi, has given the Cassava Association growers to ensure that they all come under one umbrella and ensure that they're able to identify the main issue affecting the sector so that a lasting solution can be profiled. From here in the North Center, we say bye for now on the program Agric Today. I'm Khadija Oluwatoyin Amin saying, see ya.